Four companies have overtaken our world and our lives without us even realising it. They've slipped in under our noses and have created a society that relies and thrives thanks to their help. However, what we see isn't always the truth. We see four businesses striving to facilitate our lives and make everything easier. They help us to find whatever we need. They help us to buy it once we've found it. They've become the things we need to buy, and they've become the places we share the purchase. They've become ingrained in our lifestyle, and without realising it, we now struggle to live without them. These are the four most influential companies in the world: Facebook, Apple, Google, and Amazon. What's the secret to their takeover? What makes their brands the best of the best? And are they as angelic as they seem? In this four-part series, we take a look into each company to work out who's the best of the best of the best, and who's done the worst of the worst. This is EntreConnect on the four horsemen of the business apocalypse. Our final horseman is Google. If God were a service, Google would be God. All-knowing, all-seeing, almighty. Anyone who's ever been on the internet has used Google. Even Google's competitors have to face the fact that Google, in just search, is the best available, with Yahoo's top search result being their competitor. It was started by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in 1998 from their Stanford dorm rooms. They wanted to organise the world's information and make it uniformly accessible and useful. Using links to rank sites based on their importance, they created the ultimate search engine, but they weren't stopping there. Google primarily offers information, the all-knowing part of their almighty status. We ask it a question and it swiftly delivers. The most important thing is that it delivers us what it believes to be the correct answer, not just the answer that's thrown the most money at Google. They've got answers for all your questions, they have the directions for your journeys, they have the exact geography of your street, and slightly scarily, they know where you've been. However, what they also offer is content, stuff to entertain you, most notably YouTube. With 300 hours of video being uploaded every hour, there's plenty for you to watch, and if you're a good enough creator, they'll pay you handsomely for your service, even if it's only a fraction of the whole cake. When you close the YouTube app, you might be using one of our other Horsemen's phones, the iPhone. If you're not, you're probably on an Android device, or maybe even a Google Pixel. Google acquired Android for $50 million in 2005, and Android now governs 74.6% of the mobile operating system market. All this comes under Alphabet, Google's public stock market name, and it's made them a pretty penny. The company is currently valued at just over $1 trillion. Not bad for a company built to rank websites. Google has 92.17% of the market share for search. That means we ask Google a lot of questions. On average, Google receives 63,000 searches per second. More importantly, we've all asked Google some things we wouldn't necessarily tell our nearest and dearest. We trust Google more than anyone. We ask stupid questions, embarrassing questions, emotionally packed questions and philosophical questions, and are met by no judgment, just answers. Google has gained this trust by providing us with organic results, making adverts obvious but not garish, and providing us with a pop-up free, simple homepage with welcoming doodles. Yahoo or Bing might judge us. Google won't, we think. What we forget is that this trust gives Google immense power. They have more information than any other company in the world. They know our shopping habits, our viewing habits, our search habits, our interests and potential future interests. This could be used for tremendous good or evil. It could be used to predict future crimes even, using examples of previous pre-murder Google searches being next snap break, average sentences for manslaughter and murder, and the more obvious, could you kill someone in their sleep and no one would think it was murder? Google's divine power also can lay waste to companies or groups. They banish the payday lenders and white supremacists to the later pages of search, the barren ground no one ever sees. When JCPenney had fake links made to make their own real links more relevant, they too were banished to the second page. God rules with an iron fist. So who rules the almighty company? The founders Page and Brin are significantly more elusive than any of the other Horsemen founders. They're also the only ones to have totally relinquished control while alive. They don't quite have the deification factor, but Google doesn't need that. Google is the deity. Now they've handed over their various alphabet companies to their respective CEOs. Sundar Pichai for Google and Android, and Susan Wojcicki for YouTube. Pichai has avoided the personal scandals of Bezos and Jobs, but has faced similar scandals to Zuckerberg. Lackluster responses to sexual harassment, antitrust probes, and a multitude of fines have meant Pichai has always been surrounded by plenty of controversy, but he does have the enigmatic presenter side to him as well. He appears to strive for information for Google, and wants Google in every corner of the earth. Does he skate by because he's not one of the founders, unlike the other Horsemen CEOs? Perhaps, but he's not skating past us. Susan Wojcicki has faced scrutiny herself. With YouTube taking sole responsibility for copyright claims and monetization, they have actively affected millions of creators' livelihoods by removing their money-making potential. This would be fair if all controversial content was taken off the site, but it's not. The lack of consistency makes Wojcicki the enemy of many creators, but while she's caused a few issues, she doesn't seem evil in the slightest, so there is that. Google has faced plenty of controversy. The aforementioned sexual harassment scandal caused workers to rightly strike. Page and Brin also controversially paid off a former employee in the midst of a sexual harassment case, not aiding their standing. Europe's not the biggest fan of Google either, who have hit them with many fines. They've been fined for muscling rivals aside, using their size as leverage to have Google's ads at the top of many pages and pushing rival ads away. They've been failing to combat the spread of fake news, similar to Facebook. However, given the whole point of Google was to rank websites properly and make information accessible, they've turned their backs on their original mission by failing to combat this. Most scarily, however, Google is stalking you. They were found to be tracking the locations of Android and Apple phones, even for those accounts that turned on privacy settings to specifically stop that from happening. With the rise of the Google Home, who knows what they're listening to? And with the amount of trust we already give them, what do they truly know about us? So, to round out the Horsemen, are they good or evil? Just like Amazon, their product offering is just phenomenal. Could most of us live without Google? Probably not. So once again, 5 stars. Google also has a potential to offer some really strong benefits for law enforcement and general global security, justifying those 5 stars. So, Google and Amazon top the good list, followed by Facebook with the wooden spoon going to Apple. Are Google evil? Well, they have a massive potential to be. Sexual harassment scandals are bad, and lackluster response to them is even worse. Sundar Pichai's need for Google to span the globe could really lead to some evil tendencies. They do the standard tax avoidance, misuse of data has been seen, and their ability to simply banish companies into the beyond is scary. All in all though, they seem to be less publicly evil. They've recently come under scrutiny, and while they're relatively anti-competitive, they're only going to stop if they're regulated. I think they have the same evil potential as Amazon, well over 5 stars, but I think on the surface, they're slightly less evil. So, 3 stars, with a potential to be well over 5. Especially if location isn't the only thing they've been tracking. We trust Google, but maybe we shouldn't quite so much. And that's that. The 4 horsemen of the business apocalypse.